I've seen you before. Yeah,
Yes, you
that's
have.
true.
And how can I help you today?
Well, I hope you can help me, but I am so upset right now
I'm sorry to hear that.
because I have just received a note saying that I am no more a candidate for my bariatric surgery
Oh, no.
because I am too old. And I don't understand that. 6 months ago, according to what they tell me, I would have been too old. But yet, they put me through all those steps of doing tests, interviews, and whatever.
Right. No, I agree. I'm sorry to hear this. You know, I think it's unfair, especially with all the work you put
Very
in.
unfair.
You were preparing for the surgery, and for them to cancel last minute, I think it's not right. Would it be okay with you if I called the bariatric surgery group just to see why they did this and if there's an alternative?
If you think you can do something, I'll support anything that you can do to.
Right. And how has this affected your mood, knowing that the surgery's been canceled?
I'm not happy. I am distraught.
Right.
It feels a little hopeless at this moment. But I'm not. It's basically I'm angry.
Right. And I understand that. I know like you're angry and you're frustrated, but any thoughts about hurting yourself or others?
No.
No. Okay. Well, if you do develop those feelings or thoughts, can you please let me know?
Yeah. All
And
right.
if I'm not here, maybe you can just go to the emergency department and let them know you're having these thoughts or feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do that for me?
Yeah.
Very good. And how are other things? How are things at home?
At home, I still have Celeste. I told you about her before.
Yeah.
She's
she doing?
getting older, and I'm not sure she's going to last
Sorry.
for
to hear
more
that.
than a few months.
Must be tough because I know you're very close with her and she's very special to you.
Mm-hmm.
And how are other things? I know, there were some issues with your wife. How are you doing with it?
Well, she's working out. She's helping me. But I don't feel that she's very present in a certain way. In the evening, she tends to go out, and it's like she's not there. She's into her own thing, so I cannot think about her as a partner, really.
No, I know in the past you mentioned you had sometimes difficulty getting some of the appointments because you depend on her to drive you around. Is that still the case?
Well, yeah, sometimes it happens, but in general, lately sometimes it happens.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a difficult time getting here today?
No, I don't think so.
You don't
Not
think so?
today.
Okay. But I know it's something you mentioned in the past. So what I was thinking was maybe we can, utilize the service of Wheel-Trans for you to get to your appointments. That way you don't have to be dependent on your wife to drive you around.
How much does that cost?
So it's not going to cost you anything.
Oh, we can look into that.
Okay, great. In the meanwhile, while I'm making the phone call trying to get some answers, I recently heard about an intensive diet program at the Humber Hospital. It's a very intensive diet program with a lot of supervision. Is that something you'd be interested in?
Whenever you mention diet, it's very difficult at this moment. I had so much hope for
Right.
the surgery. I mean, I'm willing to look at it.
Sure. I'll provide you with the pamphlet and some information so you can look it over and we can discuss it next time. Okay. Now, you mentioned some of the thoughts and feelings you've had since the rejection from the surgery. I want to discuss those a bit further. But before I do, just so I don't forget, is there anything else we need to discuss today?
In the last few days, I've had this leg here.
It's quite red.
Yeah, it's not easy to remove this. Okay.
And you said last few days. How many days exactly?
3 days, maybe 4.
4 days.
Just started at the
right here?
right here and then went up.
Okay. And you do have a cut here between your toes. Do you remember when you got this cut?
I'm not sure. I think it was some sort of a white thing. Almost looked like athlete's foot at one point or something like that.
Any pain when I press back here?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, it's sensitive
Right.
on top of the
And do you think that it's
the
getting
redness.
Do you think it's getting bigger over the last 3 days?
I mean, it's covering more of my leg.
Okay.
Sometimes my leg is bigger, but it's always been like that at the end of the day.
Okay. And any fever in the past couple of days?
No.
Any recent history of travel, long distances, either by car or plane? No. Okay.
No.
All right. And has this happened to you before?
I think that not exactly like that. I think that there was a time when they thought I might have a DVT. Is that how you call it?
Yes, that's a blood clot. The fancy
Yeah.
term for blood clot. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Emerge and they did all sorts of tests and
Okay.
it seemed to have been okay.
Okay. Well, Mr. Duchastel, I'm afraid to say this, but I think you may either have a infection of your leg, what we call it cellulitis, which is a fancy term, or a blood clot. Okay, I can't.
That's dangerous.
The blood clot is dangerous, and the infection can be dangerous if it's not treated. So what I think we should do is send you to the emergency department for them to do what they call an ultrasound of the lower legs, and that basically looks for any blood clots. And they can also do a blood test to see if there's any signs of infection that may be present from the infection from your foot. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I guess is there any way to accelerate this process?
So what I can do is I can certainly write a letter to the emergency room physician outlining my findings, and hopefully that should help them expedite the process a little bit.
All right.
Okay. Do you need transport to get to the hospital, or is your wife still around?
Well, she's, I think, waiting for me in the coffee shop.
Okay.
We can see if she's there. I don't know if she knew how long I was going to be here.
Okay. So why don't we do this? While I write the letter, we'll have you contact her if she's still around. If not, then we can arrange with the girls at the front to help you with some transportation to the hospital.
Okay.
Sounds okay? All right. Okay. I'll be right back.